Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Non-Stop Fishing. Now, I'm here in the shed, Non-Stop HQ, as you guys know it. And at the moment, the sun is out, beautiful morning, but we are right in our winter, and it's very cold, very wet at the moment. Now, I haven't been doing a huge amount of fishing, only because one, work has been super busy, and the weather hasn't really been playing the game. The winds have been up, and it's just, whenever I've got time off, the winds are up. Whenever I've got work, the winds are down. So it's just trying to find that happy medium. We really are looking at doing a trip down Port Mac. Just got to line the weather window up for that. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to sneak down there and have a little sneaky crack for a barrel tuna. But I thought I'd share something completely different today. Now, it's a bit like a cooking show. I've got my stuff set up ready to go, but this is different. Now, in July, there is a bit of an occurrence that happens pretty much after a new moon. 2 to 3 days after that new moon, there is a thing called a bloodworm run. Now, this bloodworm run only happens like 3 times a year. And basically what happens, the bloodworms basically spawn and do their things in the mangroves, and then after this new moon they come out, and on a big outgoing tide they get washed out to the ocean and the sea, and pretty much everything just has a huge feast on them. And in the past I've had a bit of a mixed bag in regards to I've caught nothing after this because the fish seem to shut down a little bit, but then other times I've been out and I've actually caught stuff. So I'd be interested to hear what you think in regards to a bloodworm run, if you still catch fish or if it basically shuts down and you don't even worry about it. But last night I went out with a couple of mates and we went out and had a little go. Now, I would have loved to have used the GoPros and whatnot, but because it was dark and I don't have huge spotlights in the tinny, I only use like little handheld torches. It was real hard to get any decent footage with the GoPros. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. So let me set the scene. Chucked the boat in about 6:30, 7 o'clock last night, cruised around the port and literally just was scouring the edge of the channel and in the shallows looking for the elusive bloodworm. Now, at the start it was a little bit slow, but then as the tide started moving, we started seeing a few, and basically it was good to have a couple on the boat because I had myself and a mate up the front with the torches, and then his son had the net scooping up the little bloodworms as we were going through. Now, you may say, what is a bloodworm? Let me show you what it is. It's basically exactly what it sounds. It is this particular guy. Now, these guys must just be in the sand and the mud, and then when they come out and do their thing, they come out and basically, this is what you find. Now, I got back last night and I put our bounty of bloodworms in the fridge because I didn't really know what else to do. As you can see, slightly moving, but they're completely shut down basically. Now, what I'm going to try and do is show you what I'm going to have a crack at, as basically drying them out, salting them, all that sort of stuff. But I've never done this before. I've only just done a bit of research and we're going to see how we go. But they say to pop them on newspaper, dry them down, then you salt them up, whack them in glad bags, freeze them, and then you've got bait, for your whiting and sort of any sort of fishing. So I'm just keen to give it a go because in previous episodes, you would have seen me going out having a crack for cockles and stuff, and that's awesome fun. Last night was heaps of fun, it really was. Now, let me see what I can do. So, like I said, we didn't break records, but for the first time doing this, I was very happy with how we went. Now, the bag limit for these guys, you don't actually go by a number, you go by volume. So, it's 4 litres per person, which is heaps. That's a lot of bloodworms for one person. But yeah, we had 3, so we technically could have got 12 litres of bloodworms, but we probably were lucky to get maybe 2 litres if that. Now, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with what we got. I don't think we need any more. And it was a bit of a blessing in disguise that our torches started to die, because if we had a big light that, had plenty of power, I think we may have been out there all night and I probably would have had a lot more to deal with. But I think this is a nice little starting point just to get our head around what these interesting little critters are like. Now, what I've read and what I've seen on the old tube and internet is you want to dry them out because the name of the bloodworm is they do have a bit of blood in them, I'm guessing. Now, pretty much, I'm just going to spread them out in a second. So there's a little bit of weed in amongst it, but that'll just give them extra flavour. All right, Just a couple more. Yeah, and you can see that the blood's coming out of them already. Now, what I'm going to do is just going to spread them all out evenly, all over this paper. If you get a little bit freaked out by slime and worms, this is probably not for you, but if you're a bit like me and you just like to have a crack at doing different things, this might be perfect. Now, basically, I really don't know if I'm doing this right, but, oh, that's the rest of my newspaper. We don't want that to happen, so let's just spread them out a bit. Give it a bit of a spread out. All right, now, I reckon that'll do. Now, what we're gonna do now is basically put some more newspaper on top, and we're just gonna dab them dry because they are quite wet, and try and get a bit of that moisture out of them. Now, oh, let me lean over here, get that last bit of paper. Okay. All right, so we're gonna just pat these guys dry, pat them down, because ultimately you just want, I don't know, all the moisture and all the muck that maybe they're carrying just to come out. Now, I've also seen that what people do is they put them out while they're alive, then they put them in the freezer, put them to sleep, but I've already done that. I did it in reverse. I basically put them in the fridge all night last night because got home about 11 o'clock and I just couldn't be bothered doing anything after that. So I've washed the boat down. Now it's onto bait preparation. Now, I didn't even say it from the start, but this is for bait. I don't know if it's a delicacy, if anyone would want to eat them, but it's definitely a delicacy for the King George whiting and the sand whiting or any of the whiting species. They would just love this. So I'm really intrigued to see how they go against your squid and your cockles, because I've actually never used these properly for bait. So they do sell at the stores, and man, they're expensive. Like, you get like a tiny little bag with like 3 worms, and it's like, you know, $10. It's crazy what people are charging for these. And to be honest, all you need to do this particular fishing, it's so easy. Like, luckily enough, I've got a boat, so that's great. Got my light set up on there. Again, previous episode, all battery powered lights, so there's nothing really connected to my boat, but just all battery powered portable. But once you've got that, all you need is one of these. It's literally a butterfly net. I got this from Big W. I think I paid like $5 for that one. So that's my spare one. But then all I did, this is again, because you want to have a bit of length in regards to that they might be slightly off the boat. So I just found a bit of tube that I had laying around the place, and I literally duct taped it to the end. Now, while we were out there last night, there were a couple of guys, and I reckon they were probably professionals, because they looked like they knew what they were doing. They had the full tower, they had massive lights just blaring into the water, and then they had these exact same nets, but they would have had another probably, I don't know, 2 meters of like, I don't know, pipe or something, and they could really lean out wide, and they were scooping up heaps. So I can imagine they would have dominated. But as a first timer, super easy, and kids actually would love this. The only thing is, luckily enough, it's school holidays. So last night, having my mate and his son, there was no school the next day. So there was pretty much no pressure of, oh, we've got to get back. And so then, you know, for school. So if it works out, school holidays or weekends, perfect timing. Now, as you can, I don't know if you can actually see, but it's starting to absorb through the newspaper. Now, while that's happening, the next bit, you got to salt them down. Now, again, I've only watched this on other, you know, YouTube videos and whatnot, and like read about it, but I know that salt back in the day, they used to salt all their meats, especially up the river, to preserve the meat. So I'm guessing this is a similar thing. So in a minute, I'm going to salt them all, cover them in salt, get them really salted up, and then from there, I'm going to whack them in the sandwich bags, make up packs. So then when I go out fishing, I can take them out of the freezer, and hopefully they will be all ready to go for a good day on the tingers, or even just a good day on any sort of fish. So I might maybe see how we go on with this. Let's just peel it up. Now, I apologise if this is boring the bejeeters out of some people, because, you know, this is something a little bit different, but it's definitely interesting. Now, let me just, oh, yes. All right, that's worked out all right. They're dry, they're definitely dry. Yep, all right, look at that. Look at all that rubbish that's come out of them. Just roll it off, roll it off, roll it off. Now, they're definitely a lot drier now. That's for sure. Okay, let's just pop that in that bucket. All right, so we've got our worms that are fairly dry. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much salt we'll need, so let's just give it a go, eh? So I'm just gonna, I don't know, should we just do the old sprinkle? No, I think we probably should give it like a bit of a covering. So I'm just going to load up. Oh no. Oh no. Now, I really don't know how much salt I need to put on these guys. I'm just going to load them up so they're real salty. Now, I didn't get the best salt. I just got the cheap, black and gold. Salt for the old bloodworms. Now, that'll do for now. Now, all I'm going to do is just maybe pat them down, give them a little pat down. Now, they already are still feeling a little bit, they're definitely salty. Oh yes, there's definitely a bit of salt going on here, so let's just salt them down. I'm just, you know what, I think this is the easiest way. I'm going to put them all in the middle, and then I'm just going to, a bit like when you're making a bit of a cake, I'm going to give them a big mix in the middle, and then I'm just going to keep adding salt, and then they should be all nicely covered in salt by that stage. Now, probably a key tip, don't have any cuts on your hands, because this would be actually really painful if you've got cuts, because the salt is going everywhere. Now, at the moment, that's quite wet, so I'm going to add a bit more salt. Now, I don't know, I guess the salt will dissolve when you chuck it in the water and stuff. But anyway, let's just... I guess that's what you need to do. I don't know if maybe I needed a finer salt, but you know what? I think that'll do. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not sure if it's, what you're supposed to do, and I apologise if I've ruined my little batch of bloodworms, but please put down in a comment below just to let me know exactly what I'm doing wrong, because this is all new to me, and I'm just trying to, do my best from what I've got, because not many of my mates have done this before, so it's not like I can just go and ask them. But, like I said, I probably should have used a finer salt. The salt I've got's quite, you can see it on my hands, it's quite lumpy and bumpy, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. When that hits the water, that salt's going to dissolve, and then the fish are going to come in keen as. So, I've salted them down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bag them and put them all ready. I don't think you probably want to see me bag every single one of them. So what I'll do, I'll pause it for now. Or actually, I might even do a time lapse so I can go and really quick. And then I'll come back to you once they're all bagged up and ready to go in the freezer. So I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I've got salt everywhere, but I think we are on the right path. So bear with us and let's bag these suckers up. Basically, I've finished packing them all up. Beauty about time lapse, goes so quick, but it took me, I don't know, about 10 minutes to do. I put about 20 per bag. Now that's gonna probably be way too many, but I don't really know. So if you could let me know roughly what you would put in a bag, I probably should have went 10, but 20 I thought, well, that'll get us through. Now, I'll freeze these up in a second and then they'll be ready for us to use, but I really do want to find out a bit more about it. So if you've done this before, let me know how you prepare them and get them ready for freezing for bait, because I personally would love not to even worry about salting. I'd love just to dab them down, dry them up, and just put them straight in a bag and then freeze them. But maybe the salt will preserve them a bit better. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said though, this is all first thing for me, and it was a lot of fun. If you do use bloodworms for bait and you go and buy them, do yourself a favour and go out and get some yourself. It's a lot of fun doing it. The kids would love it, and it's not hard to do. You just got to basically work out your times and go from there. Now, in the not so distant future, I'm hoping to get down to Port McDonald. I keep saying in every video, but I really do want to get down there, because the last couple of years we've just been burdened with weather, COVID, all that stuff that's just made it hard. But we've got some gear that I bought 3 years ago that needs to go out, needs to have a crack for one of those monsters. So we're definitely going to be going. So keep an eye out. Hopefully in the next few episodes something like that'll come up, but between now and then we're probably going to do a fishing trip down Yorks, and we'll probably try out some of our bloodworms. So hope you've enjoyed and hope you picked up a few little hints and tips, but thanks again for watching, and I really appreciate the support. Till next time, see you later guys. Yo!